All right, we are recording. Awesome. Sorry, I have to get everything set up. I have two computers going here. Thank you guys first for being here tonight. I am so excited for the next 8 weeks. If you haven't checked out the team page, check that out. I have what we're going to cover in the next 8 weeks. So really briefly, number one, tonight, overcoming fears, habits to creating your most productive self. Next week, we're going into how to get motivated and to keep it. Week three, how to interpret where you're stuck. It's a framework in psychology, which is really awesome because you can go through the interpretation ladder and figure that exact point that you're actually stuck at. Week four, 10 reasons you will fail, or if you reverse engineer them, reasons you'll succeed. And then 5 musts for crushing it on week 5. Week 6, staying on your agenda, how to not get sidetracked by like, oh, they're doing this and that works, and they're doing this and that works, and really stay in your lane on your dreams and your goals. So we'll actually give you a system for evaluating whether something should go onto your agenda or not. So you have a better, you're coming from a conscious place of making decisions. Week 7, how to understand and influence people. So how to be a bigger influence to those around you. And then week 8, how to handle conflict. So I'm really, really excited for all this stuff. Coming up, we're going to dive in because I want to make sure to get through lots tonight. And there's just so much information. I'm so excited about this. So first, the one thing that I want you guys to know, if you haven't read High Performance Habits, is Brendon Burchard always says, we don't have energy, we generate energy. And that is super important to really consciously think of what that means. We don't have it, we generate it. A lot of you will say, oh, I had to like rev myself up to get a workout in. You need to rev yourself up for life, not just for getting a workout in, but rev yourself up for life. If you're walking into a situation, walk through the door and say, how would my best self act today? How would when you're going to get on a Zoom, how would I bring the most incredible energy to that Zoom? When you go to invite someone, how can I really show them with intention that I have their best interest in mind and I want to help them so badly? How do you bring that best stuff? How do you bring that energy, right? So that's kind of what we're going to be covering, is how to go through life making conscious choices and conscious decisions instead of just ending up going through the motions. And why this has become such an important thing for me to teach all of you is because I've been a coach for almost 7 years. It'll be 7 years on April 1st, so we're coming up on my 7-year anniversary. And I have done everything in my business at a very high level for 7 years. You know, we've been a 6-time elite team, which is incredible. That is thanks to all of you guys for pouring your heart and soul into helping others. 6 times. We're going for our 7th year, which is amazing. And the last few months, I've just been going through the motions. From the outside looking in, I'm still producing. I'm signing up coaches, still earning plenty of Success Club points, doing everything. It would look great, right? I'm doing everything, but I was going through the motions and I didn't have that fulfillment on the inside. And I knew that it was a struggle that I needed to grow through to, one, figure out the answer and have that answer be conscious so that when other people are in this situation or in this mess, I know how to help them overcome that mess, right? I have the tools to help them overcome it. So it wasn't that like in this struggle, I wasn't so frustrated. Giving up was never an option for me. My dreams were way too big for that, but I just wanted to grow through it faster. And so now that I have the answer, the thing that I love the best is, and I told them on the Zoom, I had a Zoom previous to this, that in 2017, the world knocked me down. And I subconsciously allowed it to happen. But now I'm so conscious about it that the world can't knock me down anymore. And I love that. I love that. It was something that I wrote. I'm not sure if I can find it again in my notes because there's so many pages of it. Of course, on the first Zoom, I turned right to the page. Let me see if I can find it. It's too good. I have to share it because it was such an aha moment that I turned to Whitney and I had to read to her what I wrote in the middle of the session. I said, you can rewire and change and reshape so the world can't throw you off anymore. You can rewire and change and reshape so the world can't throw you off anymore. And I wrote, I had to grow through 2017 to see what could throw me off so that the world can no longer throw me off. I'm conscious of that now. Oh, gives me chills. It makes me want to cry. So amazing. So amazing. And what I love is that this business holds us accountable to that. You know, if you don't give up and you lean in, and when you struggle, you lean in, because when you struggle, a lot of times we end up kind of going into the caged life. We don't mean to. We end up there by accident, but the caged life is resentment. It's, oh, well, they're doing it this way. It doesn't work for me. I've tried everything. And if you're in that I've tried everything category, you are living a caged life. Because if you've tried everything, I can promise you, you can send me your list. Send me your list of everything. And I can add 100 things more that you haven't tried yet. So when you're saying I've tried everything, when you're resenting other people, when you're just, you know, it's just constantly like trying to disconnect from everybody, you think you're going to protect yourself from disconnecting. That's the last thing you want to do, because that's where you end up, as the caged life. But how do you move from the caged life past the comfortable life to the charged life? And that's what these next 8 weeks are going to be about, because I want you guys living fully conscious lives where you're performing at a higher level, exceeding beyond normal terms, and having more fulfillment and joy in everything that you do. You guys with me on that one? Yeah? Okay, awesome. So today we are going to have a lot of sharing, and we won't be able to get to everybody, but I really want you guys to understand, in the sharing, there's a reason behind it. And it's in psychology, and it's called socializing your learning. Socializing your learning. So the prompts that I'm going to give you tonight, I want you to go through, write them out. Don't just go through the motions, because I did that before. I went to his High Performance Academy, and at the time I had pure joy and passion and excitement for everything I was doing. And this was in 2016, and it was my biggest year. And I believe it was my biggest, most fulfilled year in 2016 because of High Performance Academy, because I did take a lot of things away. But there were a lot of habits that I didn't do. I left that seminar, and there was one really big one that I didn't do, which we'll get into next week, because I was like, yeah, that's cool for them. That's fluff. I don't really need it, right? Everything I'm covering with you guys in the next 8 weeks is not fluff. And I really, really, really want for you to come out of these next 8 weeks and have so much joy and fulfillment in everything you're doing. So the things that I'm covering, I've condensed my notes into 8 weeks, and it's basically condensing 40 hours into, what's 40 minutes times 8? Into less than 8 hours. It's probably like 6.5 hours or something like that. So it's 40 hours condensed into 6.5. So I'm giving you the top things that I took away. So they're super important. Okay, so socializing your learning means that when you answer these prompts, I want you to share them out loud with someone else. We're not going to be able to get to every one of you tonight, but I also want you to listen to how other people are answering and write it down. Because the way to grow faster is to learn from other people. And if you're, you know, when we did these in small groups, we would be like, oh yeah, I need to do that. Oh yeah, that's a great idea. Oh, I'm going to add that to my answer as well. So you're able to get additional ideas. 10 minds are better than one, right? But also, when you learn something, go share it in the team page. You guys see me sharing in there, and I'm crazy because I'm like, I figured this out, and I figured this out, and I figured this out, and I want to share, and I want everybody to learn, and I want everyone to know. I do that because I'm really excited about it, and I want you all to have a chance to learn from it as well. But that helps me to master what I just learned. I didn't even know that. I'm really excited about sharing. So when you learn something, a new aha moment, when you figure something out in your business, it's not small. It's big, because everybody else can learn together, and we can learn faster. So I also ask through this 8 weeks that you share a lot of your aha moments and things that you're figuring out in the team page. Go to Ignite Your Life, share it in there. Let's socialize our learning so that we can grow faster together as a team in 2018. Are you guys all with me on that one? Okay, awesome. Let's get started. So these next 4 or 5 things are pretty big. This is probably the biggest thing for me that has changed my world. So number 1, I have a daily system, a daily morning ritual. I know a lot of you do, but this has been included in my morning daily ritual, and it doesn't have to take a lot of time, and I really hope that you include it in yours, or some form of it in yours that works for you. So number 1, what are you most grateful for in your life right now? And don't worry, those of you that are on the Zoom before, the rest of them are different. Number one, what are you most grateful for in your life right now? Number two, I want you to write out your dream list. And if you can, push yourself to get 20 to 30 on there. Some of you have a really easy time, like I just started going. I'm like, I have no problem telling you what I want. I went on for days. So write out your dream list. But that was something that I realized as I had stopped dreaming. I was getting so focused on the tasks and less on the dream. And it just led me to go through the motions. Number three, and I'll give you time after I go through these questions to go through and really write them out. Number three, what are your fears around your dreams? When you look at those dreams, what fears come up? What fears come up when you look at those dreams? Number four, how would your best self, you know, when you're like feeling your best and you're acting your best, how would your best self deal with those fears? How would you flip those fears? And number five, based on your dreams, what are three bold actions you're going to take this week? Three bold actions you're going to take this week. Okay, so keep writing, but I'm going to share some things with you. So when it comes to fears, there's a couple different fears that tend to pop up. One of the fears is loss pain, fear of loss. Like oftentimes I'll hear someone say, well, I don't want to leave my full-time job because I'll lose my benefits, right? That's a loss pain that I hear a lot of. But how do you flip that? And to flip a loss pain would be, but what's the gain? What's the gain? Well, if I make more than my full-time job, I'll be able to cover my benefits and I'll have more time to actually go on vacations with my family. So what's the opposite? How do you flip that fear from that loss to that gain? So that's one type of pain. Another one is the process pain. And when I was going through my fears, I couldn't figure it out actually. Like I was like, there is a fear here and I don't know what it is. I can tell you that my fear was the process pain. It was my fear. Oh, someone. Who's unmuted? That's crazy.
Oh, sorry, my kids.
Oh, there we go. The process pain towards the next towards the next level. We all have some type of fear holding us back to getting to the next level. We really have to up level our identity. I didn't even realize that mine was the process pain because I'm like, I'm not afraid of the process. I can do the process. I've got this. And then as I continue to reevaluate, like this is part of my morning ritual. I go through my gratitude list. I go through my dream list. I go through any new fears that are popping up. I go through flipping them, and then I create my three bold actions for the day. And as I was doing that for the fourth day in a row, it popped up. And I was like, oh my gosh, I am nervous about the process because I am having to like redo everything that I know. I'm redoing my getting ready process from what I've learned. I'm redoing how I talk to people. Like I'm changing everything. And so I was nervous of the process, kind of like I guess the loss pain in the sense of losing what I've already created. But I have to let that go to become bigger and better. and go into those dreams. And then the last pain is the outcome pain. A lot of people are like, oh yeah, but what if I try and nothing ever happens, right? What if I try? But what would it feel like if you went for it? And when you have that outcome pain, it's really you focused. You're worried about what everybody else thinks. It's very selfish focused. Me, 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 me. What are people going to think of me? What if I don't do it right? And really learning to honor this struggle and honor that you have to improve to get there. And that's okay. That's part of the process and honoring that struggle. So does anyone have theirs done that would like to share first? And Lauren said she can't talk today. That's okay. I just love that you're on. Hopefully your manager can't hear me though.
I'll start because I kind of popped in on your other call, so I maybe had a little bit more time to think about it.
Yeah.
But I also have been trying to incorporate like a gratitude journal into my morning ritual, just 5 minutes a day, nothing crazy, because I also have a problem with my focus. So that's one of my biggest struggles right now is I have usually a lot of energy and a lot of ideas that are coming at me just on my own. I don't need any outside help with that. And then you add outside stimulus into that and it can get really out of hand really quickly. So what I really need to focus more on is not just creating the schedule, but following the schedule and like finishing a task that I know I can work on a little bit later so that I can move on to the next task and not just skipping one task because but I'm on fire with this one, because then it kind of leads me down one road and then everything else gets put on the back burner. So I'm really trying just to focus on my focus. And then my gratitude, what mostly has been coming up, especially over this last month or so since I've been able to kind of start this whole coaching business is I have 2 children. I have a daughter who she'll be 8 at the end of June and my little boy will be 11. And I've worked pretty much their entire lives, dropping them off at 6 a.m. for before school care, picking them up after school care, totally just burning at both ends and never really stopping to evaluate if that was working or is there anything else that I can do. And last year was, you talk about having your ass handed to you, that was literally from every corner of the world in my life got handed to me. So it was very looking back and trying to figure it out. So I'm super grateful to have the opportunity to invest in myself and to be here with my children. And yeah, so that's me.
What are your dreams?
I dream of a life of freedom where I get to choose when and where I do things. I want to be able to take my kids on vacations. I grew up with a dad who worked in the oil field, so he worked all the time. We hardly ever saw him. He was definitely a workaholic, and I want to be able to still see my family and enjoy time with them and schedule not even scheduled, but just be able to have that time with them that's not scheduled, to be able to be here when they get home after school and take them up to the park for a couple hours and not be like, well, it's already 7, we got to get dinner going and then it's bath time. So just being able to create a life that works for me, that I'm enthusiastic. My 3 words were authentic, joyful, enthusiasm. So those were the 3 words that I try and start my mornings with since I've picked up the high performance habits. But yeah.
Love it. And then what are your fears?
That I'll fall on my face like a giant loser. That I have a lot of my own struggles, so it's like I always am like, why would anybody want? You've had to lose 50 pounds like 3 times in your life. Why the hell would anybody take your advice on diet and exercise or treating your body right? You still have issues with that, but I've come to realize that makes me a lot more relatable than a lot of the other people that maybe haven't had those struggles. So being open with those and sharing those a little bit more and not just the highlight reel.
Yeah, love it. I love the flipping of the fears.
Yeah.
And then what are your 3 bold actions that you're going to take this week to get closer to your dreams?
Well, I have yet to invite anybody to the coaching opportunity. Like, I've talked to a few people here and there where I feel like, but to actually just be like, hey, this is what I'm doing. Does anybody else want to do it with me? I've been a huge chicken as far as doing that. So that's one of my big bold actions. Again, with the live thing, I don't know what is my hang up with that. Like, I'm so just like, I'm like, I'm going to do it today. And then somehow it's like, oh, and today's over and I'll do that tomorrow. So I think, again, just being more open with sharing and, being real. When you go live, you're completely, raw. So at that point, just getting over that and like you said, that's the way you look, that's the way you talk, like just get over it and be who you are. So to actually just do that and not just schedule it into my thing and be like, oh, I'm messaging all these people, I'm very busy right now. Like, I'll just have to wait. So
was that 3? I got inviting to coaching, live video.
Oh, I've got a lot of questions in like my personal development books where it's like I get to the action part and I'm like, okay, I'll do that tomorrow. So maybe working on some of those, actually writing down the dreams and the goals and not just thinking about it for 5 minutes and saying, okay, I got that. I know what I want in life. It's like, well, write it down, Jamie. There's a reason that you've gone through 3 separate books now, and every single one of them has been like, hey, write your shit down. And it's like, okay, I'll write my shit
down. Okay. So we just went through gratitude, dreams, fears, and then your bold actions. Guys, reason behind the bold actions, go do them this week. They have to be done. Like, do them. Do your stuff. So I would say go invite to coaching as soon as we're done here and go live, 5-minute video. In 10 minutes, you'll have both of them done and you'll feel amazing. So message me and by like 6 o'clock Pacific time and let me know how that goes. You can do it. You can do it. Who wants to go next? Everyone's like, not me. She's like, yeah.
I can go.
Yay!
Jamie, I love your energy, by the way. I'm like, you go, girl. I love it.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
Of course. Challenging day with Christy, like messaging me. I had some stuff, and so I feel like I should share because I need to do that. So what am I most grateful for right now? Freedom, ability to plan my day and our life after leaving teaching. I'm so grateful for my team that really sees the vision and potential for the business right now. I feel like in the last few months that's finally coming to fruition. I feel super grateful for the financial aspect that I don't have to work a full-time job anymore. I can do this full-time. And then all the growth that I've had over the last 3.5 years, it's just amazing to me. It blows my mind every day how much I've changed and I've learned and in ways I didn't even know I needed to. So I guess I'm grateful that I took an alternative route that most people wouldn't take and had the guts to do that and stick with it.
Love that. And I have to add I want you guys all to talk, but when you guys say stuff, it reminds me of things. I have to add with Cassie, her alternative route. She was someone in the beginning, she's like, oh no, I just want some extra income. I don't want to do this full time, Christy. So I think that was more of a fear of hers, which we'll get to her fear in a little bit. But I love that you said that, the growth part too. Because yeah, I feel the same way about that. And dreams. Let's go through.
Yeah. So this is one that you really challenged me with, and I'm like, I don't know. I have like dreams, I guess. But I really want to earn 6 figures because I was almost there with my full-time teaching job and coaching. And I'm like, I was so close. And that's just a milestone that I want to get to. And with that, I want to pay off our student loan debt. It just weighs heavy on me and I hate it. I just want it gone. A lot of these are financial, I guess. So we could just do a blanket statement of dreams. I want to be able to do financially what we have planned and execute. So invest in properties, get a lake cabin, and then be able to have our future kids in childcare a couple days a week so I can still be home alone and do my stuff. So those are kind of my dreams. As far as like the business goes, like I really want to continue building a team of women who are similar to me, like-minded with similar values. I just feel like every month I'm getting one more that is my tribe. So
Love that. And side note, just because you're saying that, I know you've challenged yourself a little bit more on the coaching, inviting opportunity side of things.
yeah.
Could you just share a little bit about that? Because I know that was one of your fears. Was
Oh, totally. Yeah. I just told you today too, like I finally have people who are reaching out to me about the coaching opportunity, and it really took me just sucking it up and like sharing. And I know that seems simple and silly, but like literally just sharing one thing every day about how coaching has impacted me or what it's doing. And it's funny because each of those people that reaches out to me like identifies with one piece of my story that I've been telling over the last month or so. Um, and then actively inviting like my challengers and call to actions, doing a live webinar once a month, which I'm going to start doing twice a month with a coach from my team or with Jenna, who's my success partner. And that's drummed up a ton of interest, just getting live and sharing my story. So is that kind of what you wanted me to share, Christy?
yeah.
Yeah. And not being afraid to get on the phone with people too.
Yes, I love it. And see, so what she just shared, I hope you guys are writing these down, and here's why, because as she was sharing, and she just shared that, right, that extra thing, I had her share for all of you, and I was like, oh yeah, I need to do a webinar. Yeah, I'm writing that down. That's on one of my project lists. Not like, it might not be in my next 90 days, because it might not fall in alignment with my 3 big projects, but it'll be on the next 90 days, the next 60 to 90 days after this one's over when I get these projects done, right? So that way I don't have squirrel brain and focusing on those projects. I have a way to evaluate, does this line up with the current projects? If it doesn't, then I put this on for, it's not like I'm saying no to it. I want to do it, but I need to get other stuff done first. Makes sense? Yeah. Inviting to coaching, guys, that's not optional if you want your business to grow, though. That one's not optional. The webinar is optional.
And it's fun. Do a webinar. Do it with your success partner, like a coach on your team. Like seriously, nothing's more fun than sharing together and feeding off each other's energy. So anyway, side note.
What are your fears?
Fears around my dreams, fears in general. Overwhelm, which has been something I've fought since the beginning for becoming a coach. I don't know why I struggle so much with this, but I'm so afraid that I'm going to start something and not be able to finish it because I'm a perfectionist. And so that overwhelm of starting a system and not following through. I have a fear of all my coaches not seeing what is possible and giving up. I feel like history repeating, they get started and then they fall off the planet. And it's frustrating because I'm like, I see the potential. So I just don't want that to keep happening and then never retaining great coaches that are doing what I'm doing. And then I guess my last one would be getting outside of the comfy little bubble that I love to put myself in, because I can definitely maintain a certain level of success, but I know that there's so much more in me that I am completely capable of with just putting an hour extra in each day that I just don't use. So really embracing the high performance habits right now and going for it. Yeah. Those are kind of my fears.
Did you flip them? How do you flip your fears?
Just do it, honestly. I know that seems simple, like a simple concept, but just continuing to do it and like try giving an extra hour each week or trying a new system and doing it. And if it doesn't work, that's okay. So giving myself grace, but yeah, that would be how I would deal with it. My best self. Suck it up and move on.
It's fun too, because some of these fears, like as you do some of these high performance habits and you're doing them consistently, the one thing you said was the only thing that beats fear is fulfillment. And so when you're doing all these things consistently, all of a sudden you don't even have room for the fear because the fulfillment is so huge. And that's what I'm feeling as I'm doing like 20 projects a day, which it's three, but these projects are getting done like so fast. I'm probably going to have to up my 3 projects in 90 days to like 3 projects in 30 days. Like, it's insane. And that wasn't what I started, but just because we just keep putting things on the back burner instead of being conscious with that in our time. So I love that. Who did I miss? Oh, 3 bold actions.
I I, I share in my challenge groups about coaching. I just want to go live and like share what I do, how I got started, why I love it. I don't do that enough. I invite them to the webinar, but I think just actually getting in there and sharing. And then I need to go live. We're moving on Friday. I need to go live and just explain how coaching is interwoven in that decision to downsize and do things different financially. So how that's impacted us. And then I failed already today. I should have done it. But sharing more boldly in person about what I do. I don't know why I still get like tongue twisted trying to explain what I do and why I do it. But like today, I had a client of mine telling me how much she hated her job, and she's like a cheerleader that I went to college with. And I'm like, she would be a great coach. Why am I not speaking up? So my goal here at the end of the week is to invite her and be more bold in person about sharing what we do.
Awesome. You're going to do it by the end of the week. Bold actions this week. 3 bold actions. Who wants to go next? Thank you, Cass.
I guess I can go.
Yeah.
So the one thing I'm most grateful for, well, I had 2 things. Number one is my husband, for kind of like jumping on this train with me because I had done it in the past. And just him, I think, even though he doesn't really understand the business and how it's run and how we earn income and everything, but really kind of being my behind the scenes cheerleader versus, everybody on the team who is everybody's cheerleader. And then my boys, because they are my constant reminder every day of why I want to do this, why I not need it to work, but why I want it to work, because I want to be able to have them want for nothing ever. So that's actually one of the things that's on my dream list is and my kids want for nothing now, but I want it to be like no question whatsoever. Like I don't want money to ever have to be a question or, something that we have to think about if we want to do something or get them something. Another thing is owning a home and possibly vacation homes is definitely on that dream list. Having cars paid off, paying student loan debt, getting rid of all of it. And then I have a whole bunch more. But my fears around my dream are, as soon as you said outcome pain, it like I couldn't find the words for it, but it's really just not being successful no matter how hard that I work. So the second you said outcome pain, as I was writing, being unsuccessful no matter how hard I work, I was like, oh, that makes more sense. So yeah, definitely the outcome pain is my biggest fear. Is no matter how much time, no matter how much effort, no matter how much intention I bring to the business, no matter how productive I am and being successfully productive, that I'm not successful. And then recently I've had this, I'm back. Recently I've had a constant feeling of being overwhelmed with everything. I'm trying to kind of, I think, like dip my toes in every pond possible. And the overwhelming feeling is tough. It's really hard to deal with. So how would my best self deal with those fears is number one, I'm trying to deal with it now and taking a step back and trying to tackle one task at a time versus trying to do a little bit of everything. And really trusting the process for me right now is how my best self would be. And I tell my clients all the time the same thing as far as their workouts go, and everything else is like, it's always trust the process. So really practicing what I preach. And really embracing the failures as a learning process rather than letting them kind of take over how I want to continue moving forward and how they change the way that I'm going to continue moving forward. Based on my dreams, my 3 bold actions that I'm actually going to take this week is number one, give myself a specific schedule. So write out my schedule, whether that's in the pockets of my 10-hour work days or not, and work on balancing my time. I think part of my overwhelming feeling is coming from having a hard time of balancing between my family, between my work day, between trying to run the business, making sure I'm getting my posts out there, my connections with other people. So once I think setting that schedule and being able to figure out where I can balance my time is definitely going to help. And then everybody keeps telling me that I need to go live more. So that's one of the things that I'm going to do before the end of this week is definitely go not just live in my challenge groups, because I do that, but go live on my Facebook, go live on Instagram, and really just kind of talk about what the coaching opportunity has done for me thus far and all of everything that I'm getting from it, essentially, and being a coach. So those are my 3 bold actions.
Awesome, I love it. And we have about 2.5 minutes left, so, and it's going to cut out. And yes, Lauren just said that Brendan did do a section on perfectionism and how basically perfectionism, like he was pissed when he did it. He got super fired up because he's like, if you say you're a perfectionist, that doesn't make any sense because you can never be perfect unless you try. So you're not even trying. So you can't ever be perfect. So that doesn't even fall in line with your perfectionism. He was super, I don't know. Lauren, maybe you wrote some stuff down. I was trying to find it in my notes, but I couldn't find it quick enough. But the thing that I've heard a couple of you say is talking about spouses or significant others. So I wanted to cover that hopefully in less than 2 minutes. Lauren and I actually talked about this. Something that I did at the beginning was I actually sat Paul down and communicated with him what this business means to me and what my vision is with this business and what my dreams are and why those dreams are important to me and that I was doing this for us. And I thought that really helped him to understand, you know, when he was cooking dinner and I was building the business, why, like, that I was doing that for us. So I think that's really important to communicate and bring your spouses in with you. I know Lisa sat down and had Pete watch the compensation videos in the Coach Online office to help him have a better understanding, but have an open, like, your spouses want to support you, so allow them to support you. Share that with them, like what your vision is for this business. There was one more thing that one of you said that I wanted to cover on. It's not going to come to me. Blocking schedules. You said that you wanted to balance your schedule. It's really about blocking time out and being really intentional with that time. So, and that was something that we'll cover in one of the other Zooms, but when you block out the time and know exactly what you're going to do, you're, 30 minutes and you're going to go after those 3 action items that we just talked about, you're going to get them done and you're going to feel so amazing. Like, I feel so amazing because I got through all of my list and more today. And now I have so much focused time for Paul and focused time for the dogs because I was intentional with the time that I blocked out for my business. I don't feel overwhelmed. I don't feel like I have to do so much because I know my block time tomorrow will bring me back to the business and I have my 3 bold actions to go after tomorrow. Does that make sense? Because otherwise, with the block time, if you don't know what you're doing, it'll just be a bunch of distraction. And then you feel like you didn't get anything done. And then